Speaking of Errol Spence, the fight just got announced yesterday. Ugas versus Spence. What do you make of that fight, Shawn? How do you see it? You fought Ugas and you fought Errol Spence. What do you make? Who comes out on that one?
100% excuse me, a 100% Errol Spence Jr. beats Yordenis Ugas 4 out of 5 times. Um, this fight just, it's hard for me to put aside everything that Errol Spence has been through, and I even put myself in his shoes. There's a ton of things that I've gone through, and I've literally put them aside and handled my business in the boxing ring. And I think that if Errol Spence Jr. can do that, that means he's 100%, and that means he wins when they fight. They're fighting in April, right?
Yeah, April in Texas at the AT&T Stadium.
Okay, yeah,
it's gonna be
exactly what I was expecting it to be.
Big crowd over there.
We have a network.
Not yeah. It's the weird thing there. Yeah, we don't know what's going on there. I think I have a little insight. You probably have a little insight too on some of the stuff that's happening. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It looks like it's gonna go to the highest bidder.
let's not get fired here.
Yeah. What makes the fight tricky for Spence, and what makes the fight tricky for Ugas, in your opinion?
We have now had the opportunity. I probably shouldn't put a crack in
That's
my
all
mouth.
good.
Asking, take some more time. Like, kill some time for me.
All right. Get some water shot, clear it all out. But looking at this fight with Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas,
Did like a whole bunch of orange come at you?
no. But to you, what makes the fight tricky for Errol Spence, and what makes the fight tricky for Yordenis Ugas?
We've had the opportunity now to see Yordenis Ugas use 2 different styles. Prior to fighting Pacquiao, we only saw him use one style. It was an aggressive, body attacking, not much boxing from the outside, a lot of strength and power, not much speed, not much quickness, no foot movement. That's what we saw. When he fought Pacquiao, we saw him use a jab. We saw him, I saw him calculate his range, the distance. I saw him ready for everything that Pacquiao was going to come with, offensively and defensively. He kept Pacquiao guessing all night. There were moments where he was defensive. Then there was moments where he was defensive counter. And then there was moments where he was punch right back with you. He showed a lot in his fight against Pacquiao. And what I'm wondering is, given the time that he has to prepare for Errol Spence Jr., I know that Silas and Yordenis Ugas should be well prepared for Errol Spence Jr. But what style are you going to use? I think the aggressive style works in Errol Spence's favor because Errol wants you to throw with him. Errol wants to punch in between your punches. Errol's strong, and they both guys believe in their power. I would give a toe-to-toe match to Errol Spence Jr. because, again, when they both use that style, I've seen Errol punch, step around, punch, be defensive, get around, things like that. Yordenis using that inside fighting style, he's cover, punch, cover, punch. Errol Spence wins that fight. Now, if you try to fight Errol from the outside, use your jab, try to stop him from catching your rhythm and your timing and things like that, you buy yourself some more time, but then now you give Errol Spence Jr. a time to calculate what's going on, where to hit you. You give him time to set up and all that kind of stuff. I really think that this is Errol Spence Jr.'s fight.
I think it's tricky because Spence is highly active with the volume punching, and his jab is very highly active. And if you're an Ugas, you got to think like what you just said. Okay, is it more beneficial for me to fight Errol on the inside and try to push him back, or catch him in between some of these punches? And I'm even now I'm thinking like, okay, what would be the most advantageous for Ugas? And it's like they might say like, well, you got to feel him out and maybe mix it up, but maybe try to, make him think twice about, throwing the jab and push him back. But Errol's very good on the inside.
He's got to mix it up. I think that's the number one thing Yordenis Ugas has to do is mix it up. I think that one style all night won't win him the match. If I had to pick which one he should do more of, I would say he should start with countering from the outside and then working his way to the body. I think that countering will present or force Spence to think. It will force Spence to possibly hesitate a little bit, and then from there, getting to the inside, where Yordenis works very well on the inside. I think then you don't give Errol Spence the range that he needs to get off his power shots. You work on the inside, out hustle Errol, and then you get back to the outside. So it's that's why they call it chess, and that was kind of one of the things I loved most about it, especially the fight with Errol Spence. I felt like that was a thinking fight, a mental fight, and I felt like for a majority of the fight, if not the entire fight, I was able to outthink him.
The thing that what you just said with Ugas, I think the big thing then it's going to be like how Errol feels that power, because if he feels like, okay, I'm not in too much danger, Errol's going to, I think he would, if a guy's trying to counter him, be like, okay, I'm just going to press forward on this guy and not give him any space to counter me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The one that comes to mind for me is Andre Ward. Prior to Ward, I had never really seen or heard the tactical approach of going toward the power. That was what I learned from Dre, watching him do his thing. And the thing is, it's like everything in life is easier said than done. Yeah. I think that's one thing that's easier said than done. You're saying, hey, go to the power, but along with going to the power, you have to be able to release some power yourself. You got to be able to release the right punches at the right time, and then get off the line the right way to alleviate the power that's coming at you. So I think it's a competitive fight. I think it's going to be an interesting fight, but I think Errol Spence is going to win this. I think that Errol's just got a little bit more in his arsenal. Again, I was just so surprised. I saw so much more from Yordenis Ugas than I would have ever imagined him having when he fought Pacquiao. But as I explained to someone once before, when all of those the guys up here, we've been watching those guys since we were way down here, So it's safe to say Yordenis Ugas was preparing for Pacquiao 5 years ago when he came back to the game and seeing who's my mark, who do I want to beat to be the best. And so mentally, he's been preparing for Pacquiao for a long time, So even though he was given a week and a half or something like that to essentially prepare for the fight, mentally he was probably preparing for that fight years ago, So, and of course, with Silas being in his corner for now quite a few years now, I think that helps as well.
And given his amateur background too, he's seen tons and tons of southpaws like over the course of his amateur career, and then the Cubans are really good too with their approaches to southpaws. So I think it wasn't anything out of surprise for Ugas on that night yet. Sheesh, very impressive to be able to beat a Manny on 11 days notice the way that he did. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.